What's up everybody, it's Jack and Tim, and this is our video on the all-important tummy vacuum or draw-in maneuver. If you're interested, as I know everyone is, in getting a super shredded six-pack or having your core function properly, wait no further. This video right here is the one for you.
Why is the tummy vacuum so important? Well, the tummy vacuum or draw maneuver is crucial in creating core and back stability along with reducing vertical pressure on your intervertebral disc. If you aren't able to properly activate your core and perform that tummy vacuum, you can be putting a lot of bad stress on the ligaments of your spine, which you really don't want to do. That was really awful.
So, you have this muscle called the transverse abdominis, or it's also known as the TVA. It's the deepest muscle layer in your abdominal wall, and its muscle striations go transversely or horizontally. That means that when it contracts, it shrinks your core. You can think of this like a corset. So you know how when you tighten the strings of a corset and the corset shrinks? Yeah, well when you activate your transverse abdominis, it should pretty much do the exact same thing. So basically your waist is shrinking and your belly button is being drawn in toward your spine. And this is what's going to increase that intra-abdominal pressure and create that great support and stabilization for your spine.
Okay, so how do I do it? I've never done it before. Well, there's tons of ways to activate your transverse abdominis, but I'm going to tell you a way that I used to teach most of my clients. Okay, so let's have you lie down on your back with your arms resting on the ground above your head. Your knees should be bent at about a 90-degree bend and your feet are flat on the ground. Keep your spine in a neutral position so you have a slight arch in your low back. Okay, now you're going to take a really big breath into your belly, just like that diaphragmatic breath that we taught you in an earlier video. And secondly, you're going to activate your pelvic floor, and now you're going to draw your belly button towards your spine and breathe out while trying to draw in even more. Okay, so if you want to get more practice in, I would suggest doing this about 10 times and holding it for about 5 to 10 seconds each time you do it.
When do I need to use my transverse abdominis? All the time. No, slightly kidding actually. It's absolutely crucial that you perform your tummy vacuum during any exercise when you're either carrying something, picking something up, or squatting heavy loads. It's even good to practice this even when you're not lifting all that big weight, just so you can build the correct neural recruitment patterns in those muscles. Some exercises that you may want to be particularly careful with are any kind of deadlift, any kind of squat, hang cleans, power cleans, snatches, or pretty much any exercise where you're holding onto a barbell.
Well, what are some of the positions you can get into to further practice activating your TVA and perform that tummy vacuum? Well, one is the 4-point position. So if you're unfamiliar with this position, it's fairly simple. All you have to do is just get on all fours with your hands placed directly under your shoulders and your knees right under your hips. You want to keep your spine in a neutral position while looking at the floor. And when performing the tummy vacuum, try and perform all the steps that we just talked about without moving your back. And make sure that your back remains in that neutral position without it rounding or extending too much. Another position is standing or even sitting. Just make sure that you're elongating your spine as much as you can with your chest opened up and your shoulder blades retracted. Again, when performing the tummy vacuum, try to perform all those steps with minimal movement in your back and keep that neutral spine and don't let your shoulders round forward.
How do you know if you are doing it wrong? If your belly button is not being drawn in, or if it's expanding, doing it wrong. So 1, it needs to be depressed into your spine, and 2, if you can't do it, or your body isn't letting you draw it in, keep on trying. You may also need to alter your diet, interestingly, because if you have a diet that causes inflammation in your gut, it could be causing a reflexive response that will inhibit the muscles of your core.
So some quick takeaways when doing the tummy vacuum or activating your transverse abdominis. Keep your spine in that neutral position and draw your belly button in. And remember, your belly button has to get depressed for it to properly activate. Also, remember to make sure that you're doing this when you pick anything up or carrying a heavy load so you don't put all that stress on the ligaments of your spine. And practice makes perfect, so practice, practice, practice. Okay, so that's our video on the tummy vacuum or draw maneuver. Thanks for taking some time to check it out. We're Jack and Tim. Stay fit, stay healthy.